Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cosmere Reads. I'm your host, Alan, and I got two first-time readers with me. I got Alondo and Will. So say hi to everyone online.
Hey
What's
guys,
going on, everybody?
Hey.
how's everybody doing?
Yeah, I think everyone's doing good. Excited to get into this. Before we jump right into these chapters, a few things I did want to talk about. First, I'm going to talk about you guys. Because they haven't met you. A lot of people on this channel already have met me, of course, from the Will Reads, doing the Wheel of Time stuff. Decided to branch into the Cosmere world. So, first of all, just quick introductions. Alondo, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What your nerdiest, geekiest things you do are, what kind of things you enjoy, long walks on the beach, all sorts of things.
I do enjoy walking on the beach with Alan, hand in hand. It works every time. A little bit about me. So I work in IT. I'm an IT project manager for federal government. My nerdiest stuff. I have obviously comic books behind me. I'm a huge comic book guy. I look at them as an enjoyment and an investment, so I do a lot of that. I huge into music. In fact, yesterday I went to my idol's concert at the American Theater, Arturo Sandoval. So huge trumpet, jazz, nerd, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
And then, when it comes to reading and stuff, I love sci-fi. I love all the bits of it. And I'm not sure if I should dive in this too much, but I'm up to book 10 on the Wheel of Time series right now. So I'm getting through it. I'm getting pretty close to the end of that. So I've been enjoying that. So
Good. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm happy that you agreed to do this and spend the next however many, how long we end up doing this in torturous, slow reading of books. We only read 3 chapters a week. You can talk to, I know I saw Ian's in chat. He's from the Will Reads. He's my first time reader over there, along with Chris. I'm not sure if Chris is in chat or not, but they can tell you all about it. But Will, I've known Will forever, so. Will has done some stuff with me in the past. We used to like Twitch stream some like video game content to like no one because no one ever watched us, but we had a lot of fun doing it. But Will, tell everybody about yourself.
That was really just an excuse for us to drink and play video games together.
It was.
There's worse reasons to drink.
Right? Ton of fun. Alan, I guess introduced me to Wheel of Time whenever you guys first started that, and tried reading it, got 75% of the way through, and kind of ADD'd out. I think the nerdiest things I do is play video games that are in the fantasy realm. Big music fan, which was interesting to hear, Alondo. Have my little record player here and a bunch of records right here.
Nice.
Played drums many years. I'm excited to get into the Cosmere series, I guess, because this is kind of like forcing me to read. So, first 2 chapters have already got me pretty hooked. So excited to be a part of it.
Awesome. So, what do you guys know about the Cosmere? I know a lot of you looked up a little bit, but without getting too much into spoiler territory. But Will, Londo, any of you guys know anything about the Cosmere itself, or like what this all is? Because we're starting this book called Mistborn, which doesn't cost me the title at all.
Like Alan, like I told you earlier, man, this is like therapy for me. I am so obsessive compulsive and detail oriented person, and I obsess about the details of everything I get into. This is hard for me, not deep diving into this. So the only thing I had to do is I had to find out what Cosmere meant. So I did look into that. So I know that surface level information. Mm-hmm. Of course, I have not gone any forward in the books. And then the first 3 chapters you assigned, and that's it. I know it's written by Brandon Sanderson. I know that Brandon Sanderson did the last 3 books in the Wheel of Time series, and that is the extent. So no more than that.
I'm kind of the same. I know there's a ton of books and there's a lot to it, but I haven't done like a super deep dive. I'll just leave it at that. There's a lot to it.
Yeah. So just a brief surface overview, and this is nothing spoilery. The Cosmere is the name given for the main bulk of work of Brandon Sanderson's books. He does have a YA type stuff, young adult books he puts out that are not Cosmere, but his main more I guess high fantasy or normal fantasy books are within, most of them are within the Cosmere universe. And we're jumping into Mistborn first, and one person did ask in chat, why starting with Mistborn? I got the question right here. Just curious, why start with Mistborn? You guys don't know this, but yeah. So the first book that Brandon Sanderson wrote in the entire Cosmere was Elantris. He wrote that when he was still in college. He was still trying to find his prose. It's not a bad book. We will get to it eventually. But as far as an entry level into the Cosmere, obviously you can start there. But I feel like Elantris is a good book if you're already in into this overarching storyline of what's going on.
Mhm.
You can start there. The Mistborn trilogy, at least the first era, which is where we're starting. I just think it's a lot more fun. And plus, I will admit, I went through a lot of times. Do I read a publication order, or I actually found a Reddit post from Brandon Sanderson where he recommended starting with Mistborn. So I kind of took his recommendation of his recommended order for reading the books and then tweaked it a little bit. So we're kind of reading through it at Brandon Sanderson's recommendation.
Right.
This is how the author intends for you to read these books.
Just like Star Wars, right? I mean, you can go like with the original, with a prequel trilogy, but
you can start with Thrawn Ascendancy. I mean, you could start there. I mean, you could start with anywhere.
yeah,
Really. If you're reading like expanded universe type stuff. But yeah, very very similar to that. There's a lot of places you can start with. Stormlight here. We can start with Mistborn. We can start with Elantris. We can start with Warbreaker. There's lots of different areas we could start in. Stormlight's a large pill to swallow because that's, of course, his masterpiece and his main gigantic. I mean, their books, like Mistborn's this. Way of Kings, the first book, is like that of Stormlight. So it's a little daunting to start there. It's like, what am I doing?
So it's a stool for short people is what you're telling me. Okay, got it.
But Mistborn's a great way to start. It's a great magic system. It's a great way to, I think, dive into it. Yeah. She said I started with Stormlight because my husband's an asshole. Yeah. Mistborn is good.
Shots fired.
So there you go. The Way of Kings, the start of Stormlight is it's a beautiful book, and I can't wait till we get there. It will be a long time before we get there, but right now we're starting Mistborn because it's a lot of fun, and it's a good way of introducing into this whole world. At least in my personal opinion, and apparently in Brandon Sanderson's too. So there you have it.
That's a good recommendation. I mean,
that's
it's just the author. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. What does he know? So anything else that you guys? I mean, so as this goes on, I mean, obviously we can tell like personal stories and those kind of things as we go on. There's really no script. If you guys haven't figured this out from the way I run podcasts or YouTube channels, I don't script anything. So. We may spend some more time doing some introductions and different things in the beginning of our episodes, but I think for the first one, in the essence of time, we'll jump right in and dive into these chapters because I think there's a lot to talk about here. Because it's a really cool setup to these books or this book, The Final Empire of Mistborn. And unless you guys have anything else to add, we can just dive right in.
No, go ahead, go for it, man. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let me pull up notes and we'll get going. So we start, I'll kind of set the scene, let you guys talk about it a little bit. So really just talk about the characters, what you think their motives are. What do you think about them? What do you think about the different aspects and motivations? I mean, just feel free to just kind of spitball and talk bounce off each other as much as possible. So we start with Lord Tressling at his manor, and he's walking around, and we get introduced to a lot of interesting things right away. You get introduced to obligators right away. So he's meeting with an obligator. They have these weird tattoos around their eyes. And
well, first of all, terminology, by the way, too, because I mean, obligators. It took me a second. I was like, what does that mean? And then eventually, it's like the tattoo thing that kept going more and more into the tattoos and how intricate the tattoos can get, where like comes around the head and up the forehead. And I was like, oh. I wish I had the visuals on that. So and they work directly for someone called the Lord Ruler, and you get that too. So there's apparently some guy that runs everything, and there's a pecking order within the noble families. We get that as well. We get that right off the bat, and then we have everyone else, which are called Ska.
Ska.
Yeah,
Right.
like some mighty mighty boss tones. Or
Yeah,
something.
it's the jazz music. I was like, oh, these guys are like really into music. I'm a fan. Let's go. Yeah.
Well, what's the extra A for? I don't know.
So I'm listening to audio, so I'm just like, oh, okay. Mighty boss tones. Here we go. All right.
Here we go. Some trumpets going. Yeah, exactly. So we get the ska, and the ska is basically the class system. You have the nobles, you have the ska, and the ska are just every regular folk. They're pretty much slaves. Well, not pretty much. They are slaves.
Right.
In the cities, it says sometimes they can make money and work in the factories and things like that for very, very small wages, but pretty much just like the Irish back in the 1800s or something like that. Like just a step above slavery, but not much. But
my man comes in with the rumors that there might be somebody who's going to like start paying these people and actually let them have some like rights and stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah. But I mean, of course, the whole time listening to this, everything about this trusting dude, I'm like, Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, I got you.
He's into little girls, yeah.
And I was like, he's like, as soon as they get to the age, and I was like, oh no, that's a bad look for you, my guy. Yeah,
it is. And the obligator's like, I've heard that you've been, sleeping with Scott, and he's like, well, I take care of it. It's like, okay, well, as long as you take care of it.
Yeah, because he was like, he gave him like a free pass because he's like, I've heard you take care of the situation, and I was like, does he?
Yeah.
Kills these? Oh no, he's that dude.
Okay. Yeah, he's that dude.
Yeah,
not a good guy.
No, it's a rough look for him.
No, not a good look at all. But good thing is he doesn't stick around for very long.
That's right. Yeah.
And we get introduced to Kelsier, our good old Kel. Kelsier's is a mysterious figure in the prologue. He's in the scoff field with everybody else, but he's just staring down.
He's got swagger.
Oh yeah, he does.
Oh, he's got swagger. Swagger for days. I love it. He stared this dude down, and he was like, the guy was like looking over the fields, and he's like,
"Where'd he go?
Why are you looking at me like that? You looking bold? What?"
Yeah.
Oh, so he was blending in with the ska. That was him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then he looks back, and he's disappeared. He's like, "Get that!"
Yeah.
Well, just beat some people.
Okay.
And by the way, it took me a second to realize until like I think it was chapter 2 or something. I just assumed that ska might look different. I mean, rough topic, but obviously you think about slavery in the U.S. It's like, well, I mean, you can obviously tell slave from like British people or whatever, European descent. I was like, do they look different? Are there like different characteristics? And in like chapter 2, it says they basically all look the same. And I was like, oh, so you can't really tell unless someone tells you that they have different lineage, whether or not they're ska or not. So,
Is it like a bloodline, or do you know? Or are we supposed to know?
They kind of allude to a little bit because what's his name?
Kelsier.
Thank you. Is half. He's half and half. And I know they were talking about that's one of the reasons why
they don't let you
Tresty was killing the girls is because he didn't want to produce any half blood children. And I was like, that's cold, my guy. That's cold.
Right. Yeah. Because you get a little bit of hint that there's some kind of magic power that they have, and only nobles have it, and they're keeping it through the bloodline and trying to keep that pure because they don't want the ska to have this power. That it's only a legend or a rumor to the ska. But so we get that much so far.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah. We got a big old Rapho. So if you see those in chat, you see Rapho, it just means read and find out.
Okay.
So you'll see that a lot.
Thank you, because I was like, who's this guy? I didn't see that character.
So that Robert Jordan from Wheel of Time started the Rapho, and Brandon Sanderson now uses it as well. When you ask him questions, he'll say Rapho. Or if you ask him a question he doesn't even know the answer to, he'll say CAFO, which means Karen and find out.
Thank you, Chad.
So that's Rapho or CAFO. If it's something like completely off the wall that there's no answer to, it's just like CAFO. It's Karen and find it. Complain about something that's not going to be an answer to it.
Got it.
But yeah.
Well, so just real quick, like on that with the ska, like there's themes of like ska rebellion. Would you guys? I mean, obviously Kelsier comes in there and tries to kind of like, in a way, like incite rebellion, right? And he's like, let's go. Like, there's a lot more out there. Come on, guys. And it's like very inspiring, but they're so like used to this, I don't know what to call it, beat down of mentality where they're just like, nah, like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Mm-hmm. But like, there's themes of rebellion. So I'm just going to throw this out there. Ska rebellion is coming.
Yeah, well, he kind of forces their hand though by like burning down the freaking like
Oh yeah,
like,
right.
the freaking spot. He's like, "Hey,
I'll
I'm
start
gonna
it.
cause some damage. Good luck with the aftermath." and,
Yeah.
he just rolls out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to your point, Will, I mean, the group of Ska that are there are not trusting of him at all. He's this traveler that's come in. They've heard of him before. They call him the Survivor. He has scars all up and down his arms, like tons and tons of scars.
It sounded like Wheel of Time. I'll be honest with you. That
Yeah.
sounded like because of dragon tattoos. And, blah,
and
blah, blah.
like we've heard of you, and you're just here to try to stir stuff up and leave, and then we're gonna end up suffering because, we're gonna get beat by our overlords, and you're just gonna leave, and this is not cool. We don't want you here. What, are you coming just to steal our food? He's like, no, I brought food with me. And he pulls out a bunch of food. He's like, wait, you stole the Lord's food? And it was like, yeah, come on, let's have a feast.
But my man was like, I'm not going to eat any. Give me the rumbles. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. You get some French cheese and you're like, not used to it. You're like, So I understood that. So I get that.
Yeah, no, it's true. You eat some fancy food after eating mac and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese for weeks. It's it does a number to your stomach.
That's true.
That's for sure. But yeah, let's also talk about the world a little bit. I mean, we're talking about the seeds.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. I'm just gonna backtrack a little bit. It's a really dystopian world that we're in. There's ash falling from the sky everywhere. Plants can barely grow. I mean, they talk about the fields can barely produce plants at all.
Right.
The plants come up brown, and they barely produce any yield at all as far as for food or anything like that. And we're in this like really dystopian type world where like everything's really hard.
And I'm not trying to spoil anything. We're gonna probably get to this, but I kept assuming that ash fell from the sky during the day, and then it became mist in the evening when
the
it
mist
like
comes
cools
out at night, yes.
and stuff. So I assumed the two things were related. Do not spoil it, obviously, because but I'm just saying that's what I'm thinking in my head. That's what those two things are. That they're related in some way.
And the majority of the Ska are terrified of the mist because
we
even talk about
the door, and they were like, "Close the door."
Yeah, no, and because there's something called mist wraiths. They mentioned those as well. And they're terrified of these things.
Because the girl thought, what's her name?
Jess.
The lady, Jess. Thank you.
Yeah, Jess,
when her daughter comes back, she thought her daughter might be a mist wraith, and I was like, oh, so they can look like anybody. That's kind of cool. So, and then she's like, but she existed during the day.
Daytime.
So So I was like, that's a cool concept of like somebody's like a shape changer or shapeshifter or something like that. So yeah.
And that's the catalyst of this chapter is when they hear the girl scream, and you start to get the first taste of this magic power that they have. So he talks about he has 10 in his stomach. So he has
10 gut.
He has 10 gut, and he starts to burn the metal within him, and he can feel it. And then all of a sudden it enhances all his senses. So he can the fire becomes more vivid. He can hear from miles away. All his senses just flare up so they can hear everything and sense everything. So that's the first little bit of magical powers that when
I read that, I was like, "Oh shit, hell yeah! Here we go, here we go."
I thought the same thing, man.
Yeah,
I was like, he's pulling it from the gut and the microbiomes. I was like,
the metal,
right.
like
here we go.
So
then, of course, I think I was like, how do you get 10 there? And I'm going to explain that later.
You explain it later, yes.
Was it 10 already there? Or did he eat like a can of like beans, like full can of beans, and
with the can?
So.
Exactly. So what was your initial thoughts about like getting introduced to this weird type of magic system? Obviously we learn a little bit more in the next chapter, and I promise as time goes on, we'll learn even more. But right now, your first initial reaction, I guess, listening or reading to it, listen to it or reading it, like this weird kind of thing of just, burning a metal in your gut, and all of a sudden you get powers.
I was like, wait, hold on. They're burning metal and that's creating some sort of powers. This is kind of freaking awesome.
It's different.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because I don't know. I played some video games that use wizardry and things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
typically they're using like herbs and stuff like that. So I guess metal to me, I was like, Huh, okay, never heard of that, but curious to see where this goes. Yeah, like how do they ingest the metal? Like that's intense. You got metal in your stomach. That's probably not good for you.
Right.
Burn that shit out.
Right.
I don't think they're
Again,
ingesting lead, but
Yeah. Again, bubble guts could be a running theme on this book, I assume, right?
Man.
I was thinking the same thing though, because I was like, man, so he
it's like talking about
metal and the whole deal. But the more I read this thing, Taco Bell, Lord have mercy. The more I read this thing, the more I was like, this sounds like Full Metal Alchemist, which is like, an anime manga series.
Okay.
Where they like, materialize, all these metals and stuff to actually give them powers.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm down with this. I am so glad we went through chapter 2, because if we stopped at the end of chapter 1, I'd have been like, what the hell is going on? Chapter 3, when he drinks the solution,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now I'm getting it.
Mhm.
But I will be honest, I really thought some Hellraiser vibes when I heard about the guys with the steel spikes through the eyes. I was like, oh, this is Hellraiser. This is Hellraiser right here.
Yeah, we'll get to them.
Because I was like, if I saw that, I'd be like, so I'm gonna turn the other way and run as quickly as I can. My man's got the steel spikes sticking out the back of his head. Nope, bye.
Yeah.
Scary shit.
Yeah, they're pretty scary. So after that whole meeting, they hear the girl scream. Kelsier leaves through the mist when everybody freaks out, and then we get to the next morning, and they're like, "Why haven't the people come to wake us up to work the fields?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it smell like it's burning?" And they go down, and the girl's back, and they're like, "Oh, she's back. Oh, the manor is burned to the ground, and everyone is dead."
Yeah, and they were like telling me, like, it's like just basically like a scorched piece of earth, and that's all that was left. I was like, holy cow, this dude like raised that whole plate. I was like, man, that's a badass dude right there. So
killed everyone. Yeah, everyone in there. Everyone's dead.
Yep.
Manor's burned to the ground. And they start talking about what to do next, and like, well, we need to move on, I guess, but can't make it there today. They talk about like we'll have to hide during the nights for the mist, but yeah. And that's how we end the prologue. So you definitely get a nice little setup to this world. Still a little confusion on what's going on. Right. And I guess I didn't mention as well as Lord Renew was, I think Alondo hinted that, was mentioned by Kelsier that he's the Lord that pays the ska. That, hey, you guys should check out, coming over to Renew's plantation, because he actually pays his ska. He's a good, cool guy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Good for him, kind of.
Maybe.
We'll see how that works out. I'm sure it's another Raffle situation. I'm sure we'll get there.
I'll Belted Prophet. I'll share that Inquisitors are very metal. I'll see myself out.
Oh, nice. Nice. I see what you did there. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do want to talk about too is at the beginning of every chapter, they do have these little. It's like from another person's point of view, and it's talking through these little phrases. So we'll get right into chapter 1 now. And I do want to focus on those a little bit because, I think the first one starts with, sometimes I worry I'm not the hero everybody thinks I am. And, will I be the happy and the hero of ages, the savior doubt himself. So, and then it goes to the next one. I've noticed, considering his actions moral after fashion, it has these little, someone else, like a narrator, talking kind of about something completely different. And I didn't know what you guys thought about those little blurbs in the beginning of each chapter or not.
I was like, if I skip ahead and read every one of those for each chapter, is it going to mean something? But
yes,
I guess it's another Ratho situation. Did I say it right?
No, you got it, Will. You got it, man. So now for me, unfortunately, I'm coming from the Wheel of Time, and some of those things, those like little blurbs at the beginning of chapters, it sometimes alluded to this prophecy and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is this prophecy or is this somebody talking about what they feel like their place is in history? I didn't know, and so I was like, I'm not going to try and read too much into it because I don't want to jump. I don't want to make illusions, considering that I'm coming from the Wheel of Time.
Sure.
So yeah.
I wonder if it's like maybe if you read the entire book through and then go back and reread just those little snippets, if it'll mean something else. I don't
They're
know.
the cliff notes of the book.
Maybe, yeah,
Hey.
something.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
They're
Okay.
deep though. All of them are very deep. Like
Yeah.
there's like hidden meaning in there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, like the
I don't know.
one in
Mary.
like
I gotta
chapter
get my
1.
glasses on her.
But the one in chapter 1 is like, it comes down to the fact in the end, he's like, I'm the one with all the armies. And I'm like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
You have the armies. I was like, okay, this is somebody that's like already speaking ahead about the fact that he already has.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying he in the pejorative. I mean, but like he knows he's got like all these people already behind him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and I was like, okay. And then of course the whole book is, the last. And I was like, okay, this is something about to get burned down to the ground, like my man, his manner and everything like that. And I was like, okay, that's probably what it's about. He's already been lining up, his armies and his people and his revolution for a while. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. I won't keep reading any more into it than that. But yeah, I found those really intriguing. I really contemplated those probably a lot more than I should have.
Same.
Yeah. So I guess you guys ready to go into chapter 1?
Yeah. Let's do
I
it.
thought we finished the book. No.
Yeah. We're done.
That's right.
So yeah, chapter 1, we meet our girl Vin. Vin's a 16-year-old girl. Pretty much
16.
Yeah, she's 16 years old.
Oh, I missed that point. I thought she was like grown.
No, she's 16 years
Oh,
old.
wow.
She's a teenager, and
Okay.
and she somehow ended up in basically a thieving gang in the city of Luthadel, which is like the main capital or whatever, where they all are. And it starts with her in their little hideout, and she's in a little secluded watch hole or something like that, because she wants to be away from everybody else. And
Right.
you get to know her a little bit right off the bat about at least a little bit of her background. She had a brother. We get that much. Brother Reen, who betrayed her as well, but
trained. Wait. Taught her by betraying her. I'm like, wait, that's the worst lesson I've ever heard in my life. Do not enter the public education system, please. No.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's life is tough for the ska, even in the cities. Because because they it's for choices for her. You can do the factory work, which probably doesn't have a long life expectancy. You could become a whore if you're a girl, or you can join a thieves guild and maybe try to make some money. But that's a really rough life too, because as a girl in a thieving guild, they're pretty rare. And
so she's a ska too.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's had a rough life.
She's had a very rough life.
This poor young girl. Oof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm rooting for her all day long. So
yeah. And we're introduced to Cayman, who is the leader of this thieving group. Who, he has his little scheme he's trying to pull. Mm-hmm. It does mention. Hold on. I gotta pull it out. He has his dueling cane, which I have my own dueling cane because I love Mistborn that much.
Wait. Okay, because
I have a dueling cane.
I'm gonna be honest. I kept hearing it sometimes as dueling cane. I was like, dueling,
like a
but
duel.
I was like, it's got to be dual, right? And I was like, I think that might have been just like a mispronunciation or something. Dueling cane. I just thought like something covered in emeralds. And I was like, oh, that does not sound like a really.
It's a cane that's used to actually fight like a sword too, like a wooden sword. So it's a dueling cane. The noblemen use them.
Got it. Does not sound effective.
So there's not like an actual sword inside of it. It's just like a wooden.
That's just like a wooden cane that you can use to duel.
Okay.
But not to hurt. It's just to to duel.
I do appreciate the actual reference, the visual reference of these things, because I mean, again, I was like, I don't understand how it's more effective than like a sword or metal, which they obviously have a lot of metal. So I was like, why would you use a? Anyway, but I'm sure there's more to come. I'm sure there's more to come. So
there is a whole lot more. But so she's hiding out in this little cubby hole, and Cayman wants to talk to her because she's needed for their plan. He wants to bring her along, and the whole idea is they're trying to scam the Steel Ministry. which is the head of the Steel Inquisitors, which we hear about and we see next chapter what those are. So that's a whole entire group of people that are doing something, but they're scary as crap, and they pretty much keep the law and order, pretty much like the police, I guess you would say the Steel Ministry is. That's the best way of putting it. But he's trying to get shipment orders, but he's not really trying to get. He's trying to get the deal so he can rob them. And he's working with another crew chief as well. Theron, I think is his name.
Right. He's like taking advantage of an existing scam, basically.
Right.
Which I mean, props on you. If you can pull it off, I mean, good for you.
Yeah. So what do you? I guess what are your initial thoughts, feelings about this initial setup? I mean, where do you think this is going? Let's make some predictions.
How do you pronounce his name? Is it Camon?
Cayman, like the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, I mean, he's an asshole. That
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
100%.
He's up to no good. He's trying to, I don't know, take the easy way out and use Vin to his advantage, because he's put together that, every time he's in a sticky situation, it tends to work out in his favor. And obviously that's because she's got this like luck aspect to her that she also uses for her own benefit, but it has to benefit him too. So she's kind of, that's the best situation I feel like she could get herself in, because like this guy seems to be kind of like weaseling his way through society, trying to like, steal shit and act like he's some noble guy. And, but he also like, slaps her around and treats her like garbage. So it's
which I thought was unnecessary. I mean, he was like putting hands on her way too much. I was like, she was just like not there. Why are you slapping her around so much? So
she's like,
I'm rooting for her. So.
Yeah, she's like reserved, so she knows like.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
there it is.
So Vin to Chris Rock to Vin.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Unnecessary though. Unnecessary.
Yeah.
Very necessary.
I'm rooting for her too. What else though? I don't know. Like that whole situation is interesting. I was kind of like hooked. Like, okay, are they actually going to get away with this, or are they going to get caught red-handed? So I don't want to go into chapter 3 yet. I don't know where it ended, but.
Yeah, not yet. We're not going to get there yet, because she uses her what she calls luck on, I think, Theron first, because he's a Theron, because he's trying to, I can't remember, like not necessarily back out, but try to, and she uses it to soothe him, mess with him a little bit, and she calls it luck, but it's tugging on his emotions. I mean, that's obviously what it's doing.
Right. But she also talks about how she feels like she only has like a limited amount that she can do, because then she talks about it's like the last of it, and she never explains how she recharges it, because then she has it again the next time. And so I was curious. I was like, how does she recharge it? Is it like, go to sleep, wake up the next day like an RPG, and all of a sudden like your health is like come back, like like the Zelda hearts have gotten refilled at the top of the freaking screen or something? I didn't know, and I was like, okay, I'm interested how that happens.
Kelsier hints to in the next chapter.
So it's like she knows how to use it, but she hasn't figured out everything about it, like how.
Yeah, she knows. I mean, she realizes she has this power, but she has no idea how she even uses it. Really, how she gets it, and doesn't even think that other people know she has it. Doesn't even know she has.
But Cayman knows something is going on, because he's allowed to bring one servant into the room, and he chooses her for obvious reasons, but he doesn't understand it either, which I'm like, it's interesting if they know that this power exists, but he still just says to himself, I don't know if she's got it, but I'm going to assume that there's something special about her. I'm going to go ahead and bring her in. I thought that was really interesting that he brought her in, especially considering the fact that he slapped her around earlier. And I was like, that's not a good way to encourage your employee. That's just my thing,
Yeah.
What happened after that, though?
So they went to the Steel Ministry and met with Pralin Laird, the obligated, to present their whole case.
Wasn't there a section where like Kelsier though was meeting with that other guy?
Next chapter.
Okay.
Yeah, right. But that guy, like, he
Sorry.
sounded like he was almost ready to be like out of the deal. He was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
and then she was like, luck magic, and then he was like, okay, I see what you're talking, and
Yeah.
then he's like, yeah, I'm on board, and you're thinking it's like, they got away with it. At the end of chapter 1, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're good to go. All
Yeah,
right.
it seemed like
Good
they're gonna
for you.
like, okay, we'll go push this up on the board, and
But she also figured out that he's about to backstab the dude that actually set up, this whole idea of setting up,
Right.
this shipping arrangement. So,
and that could go very poorly too.
Oh.
So, there's lots of
this thing about honor among thieves. Now, come on.
true.
But
he also did this thing when they did the vice versa of that is that there's no holding back. Yeah.
Oh, good point. Yeah,
I'm not sure if I'd call it.
That's true. That's true. That's the wrong term. That's right. That's right.
She's
she's there of obligation because her brother. By the way, this guy I already got hate on this guy. I don't know. I don't even know him. I don't know him, but I hate him.
Yeah, because he told her over and over again, everyone will betray you. Don't trust anyone.
Right.
Nobody's good. Everyone's going to betray you.
Yeah.
Just you're in for number one, and he ended up betraying her too. So
yeah, he's like, what's thicker than blood? Not me. And he just like strolled out.
And I think Kane even mentions it, like you still have to pay the debt your brother left behind for what he did or whatever.
Yeah.
So
he's like holding her salary or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. It's because the obligation now.
She's more of an involuntary intern. That's good.
Oh, intern.
Interesting.
Good way of putting it.
I like it.
Yeah. Indentured servant probably is a better way of putting it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Indentured servant. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so when they first meet with the Pralin, he's like, "No, I'm not interested, like at all, in what you have to offer." I mean, like the obligators pretty much say no. Like, what do you have to offer? Like, nothing. Like, and he's like, "Well, I was willing to sweeten the deal," and starts going into his whole other thing. It makes the deal a little too sweet. And that's where Vin uses his luck to try to press it a little bit further, so that way it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But like he's definitely like, yeah, we're gonna pretty much lose money on this, but because of the contract, we might get other contracts, and that will help us out. And obviously it's a scam, but the obligator says, okay, sounds good. We'll push it up, and we'll get you a meeting with the bigger guys.
And of course, in the chapter 1, I'm thinking, oh yeah, they got successful on this. It's like they succeeded in just completely getting this guy to buy into this deal. And I'm thinking, oh, success, hooray!
Yeah,
idiot me. I'm like, oh yeah, and good job.
Vince pretty smart too. She's like, she's trying to give him very, very sheepishly, trying to give him like little tips, like your servants are dressed too nice.
I read the comment. The guys in doll reference. I'll look me the lady tonight. Yes, thank you, Ian. Love it.
But yeah, so I mean, like his servants are dressed way too nice, and and Vin points it out, saying like, hey, you're on the brink of financial collapse. Like, this looks too polished. You need to have Ska in here, as your servants. Because it's going to look more realistic. Like, I'm trying to help you out. Like, she's actually better at than him in some ways. Like,
her awareness
her awareness is way up
next
there.
level. Next level, easily. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So initial thoughts on Vin. I mean, obviously we feel bad for the girl, but
she's awesome.
She's awesome. Yeah,
I'm rooting for her.
Yeah.
Like again, I mean,
so
I hope she comes out.
We're rooting for Kelsey. We're rooting for Vin. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Vin sports like a cape, like a flowing cape and 2 swords. I don't know what she's gonna do, but I'm for it. I'm like a stan. Please bring this lady back into everything. All day long, every day. Yes.
She's gonna like dig deeper and find more powers and become just like an ultimate badass.
Oh yes,
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. Which would be a great introduction to how the powers work if she learns how to expand on what she already knows.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Vin tattooed on my neck tomorrow.
Poor life decision. Hey, keep going.
Yeah. So, and that's what we in this chapter. I mean, these are really short chapters. I mean, I'm looking now at the book. I mean, they're not long chapters that we're in. This is only 4 pages long, 5 pages long in the book, first chapter. So it's just really setting up setting up the situation and what's going on. Then we move right into chapter 2, which just takes off right where kind of. It goes back to Kelsier for a little bit. He's meeting up with Doxson.
Right.
And they're talking about an upcoming meeting that they have with the Steel Ministry as well. So they're at the same place as well. Getting ready to go in, and just a little bit of chit chat there.
It sounds like there's a lot of like crossover. Sorry, Alondo. There's like they know a lot of people in the area that they've worked with in the past, and they're trying to say like, it almost gave me like Ocean's 11 vibes. Like, well, this guy used to be pretty good at this. Is he still in the job or?
Yeah.
So they're like sorting people out, which was interesting.
They are. Yeah. They're asking about a lot of different people and trying to come up with some kind of plan. And Docs mentioned something about getting used to Kelsier with his how he is new now. He's not the same as he used to be.
Right.
And there's a hint to that. It doesn't really go much further than that. It's like, yeah, we'll get used to.
And Kelsier's brother is named
Marsh.
Which one's Kelsier's? Marsh. Thank you.
Yeah, and he's not he's mentioned in this chapter, but he's not.
A lot of reference to him, but yeah, you don't really hear anything from him.
Because Marsh found the girl. That talks about because it says, "Where'd you find this?" Because Docs is bringing Kelsier there to see Vin.
Right.
And he's like, "How'd you find this girl anyway?" He's like, "Marsh found her. Your brother."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Yeah.
So yeah,
great chapter though. I mean, all around. I mean, the fact is like, well, first of all, there's the assumption that they of course they have the second meeting.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get into. Yeah,
go ahead.
And now you have the high guy. I mean, this guy is the high Pralin, so he's the top obligator,
big boy.
And we learned from Kelsier too that those guys are trained to sense whatever Vin's doing.
Right,
like they're trained, and you see it too because he's like, "Yeah, I think we're gonna pass," and then Vin pushes
stone cold. Yes,
Vin pushes, and his eyebrows raise, and he goes, "We'll do it. We'll collect your money."
But the moment that she actually uses her luck, like literally moments later, he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, we're in," which means that you really don't know that she's actually influenced him in any way, shape, or form. It could just be the moment that he felt she used that luck. He's like, "Got him," and so she, he's like, "Okay, that's all we need to know is just to confirm that she used power." Or tried to use the power on me, and he's like, "That's enough."
Yeah,
and
that's enough.
Meeting over. Now let's go ahead and let you walk out. Of course, when they come in to actually sign contracts and stuff, and they were like ready to be like apprehended, and they're like, "Oh, this is going through. Okay, okay, sure."
Yeah, they think everything's great. Yeah, they sign the contracts. They collect payment. And they walk out. They're like, "We did it, guys.
We got the boxing
drill." They're pretty much celebrating. And then it switches back to Kelsier's point of view. And he's watching everything go down. He's like, "You guys are in so much shit right now. You don't even know."
He's over there like binocular style. Like, I see what's going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's sitting there and he's watching, and they leave with their money, and then about a minute later, he sees the High Prelate come out on the front step with a Steel Inquisitor, with the steel spikes sticking out the back of the eyes.
Again, freaky. That's the most freaky thing I think I've read in a while or listened to.
Yeah, Steel Inquisitors are terrifying.
Again, that's Hellraiser vibes. That's all I'm saying. Hellraiser vibes on that one.
Yeah. So spikes pounded through their eyes, back through the back of their heads. And obviously they start to follow them, and Kelsier sees what's up. So I mean, this is where you get a little bit more into the metals, because it lists out the 8 metals because Kelsier takes out a vial. He downs 8. He says, "I got a vial full of metals," and he's also, this is also the scene where Kelsier's wondering. Someone, it might be Doxson, asked, well, how's she able to resupply, and Kelsier,
he was like, "I don't even know if she knows how to use it yet."
Yeah, I don't know if she knows how to use it yet, but one of the reasons why the Lord really decided to make the capital here is because of all the metals in the water and everywhere around here. So just by drinking water, you're getting trace minerals and metals in your body. You can, I think it even hints to like eating, depending on your fork, you'll get trace. So she's using,
Oh wow.
obviously she doesn't have a lot of it because
Mhm.
she uses it up really fast, but talking about resupplying it, it hints to that right there about how the entire area is, there's ways that not like Kelsier did, where he actually straight up down vials and now he has it.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
he's
right,
got
right,
a
right.
concentrated.
Yeah, concentrated dose of all eight metals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know there's 8 metals. Obviously 10 is the one that enhances your sight. And Kelsier does pull on the Inquisitor's emotions too. So obviously he has that.
Wait,
So
10. So 10 enhances your sight. Then how did he enhance his sound, his hearing?
that it enhances all your senses. 10 enhances
Oh,
all
you
your
said sight, and I just
Sorry,
assumed.
sorry.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
all your senses. 10
Got it.
enhances all of your
All your senses.
So there's
Got
8
it.
metals completely. So
Okay.
or at least right now.
Okay, got it.
As always, Raph out. The 8 base metals. He does say that. He says there's 8 base metals. He doesn't
Right.
talk about anything else.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on 8 different metals? I mean, 10 does one thing. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
He touched on zinc
Okay.
in this scene.
Yep.
And I believe it just said kind of gave him a boost and everything. It's when he and is it Dachshund were getting ready to go. Dachshund was going to go get the
Yeah, and he burns zinc to
the
pull
tails.
to pull on the Inquisitor a little bit.
Yeah, he went to get in the Inquisitor's mind and like influence him.
Right.
Right.
So zinc was kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
mind control influence
Yep.
feel.
Okay.
But yeah, I also wanted to say they called it allomancy or allomancer.
Yep, they did. Yep, allomancy.
Right.
It's like I don't know if anyone here has played Diablo, but necromancer, allomancer, it's instead of dead people, you're using metals
Right.
to
Yep.
perform magic in a sense.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
Yeah, allomancy. Yeah, that's the name of the magic system in the book. So yeah,
Yeah.
you caught that. Good.
it was the first time I'd heard of that. But yeah, zinc, it felt like zinc. They mentioned zinc and 10 so far.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they
Yeah.
mentioned all 8 metals because he listed them
I
out.
heard all the metals, but I don't know what they do.
But they didn't say what they all did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like he just had a vial of like all the metals and just friggin' pounded it, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. A valve full of all the metals and pounded it down. So
Yeah,
them
like
all
a
inside his
shot.
stomach.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Long
Yeah.
Island iced tea. There you go.
So yeah, and he says, "Well, I got the Steel Inquisitor. You go tail them as well. Get back to their place. Get them to safety. Let me handle." And he's like, "You're gonna fight the Steel Inquisitor?" He's like, "No, that's suicide." But the chase begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and he pulls on it, and the guy immediately, the Steel Spike Inquisitor, immediately spins around right to where Kelsier was, and like it's like the chase is on. Like
Yeah.
it's on the run.
So
And there's
yeah,
also kind of like a perception of them, and then it's like, but we also have our people we're trying to follow because they want to follow Vin and find out what's going on over there.
Right.
So you're like, well, what's their priority right now? Yeah. So it was a nice cliffhanger at the end of chapter 2. It was good. So
they're in this situation of like, oh shit, are they all about to get murdered before we can even link up with Ven and add her to our squad?
Yeah.
We have to save them from the big bad Inquisitors and Metal Spike guy.
Yeah. The Mouse Spike guy.
What's his name again?
You're talking about the Praeline, High Praeline, or are you talking about the Steel Inquisitor?
Steel Inquisitor. There it is.
yeah, Steel Inquisitor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's an intense build-up scene right now.
Yeah. So my questions right now, number one, how do these steel spikes get, basically impaled through the eyes? I mean that.
And how are they like surviving? And like,
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, that's just creepy as hell. I don't want to see any fan images of this. I don't know.
For a second, I was like, wait, is this like a corpse that like is just, or this is a living being? No, wait,
That's
he's
a
just
good
got
question. Yeah.
Got the big Raffo from Dana here. So we didn't find out.
I'm sure, but holy cow. I mean, just the imagery in my mind. By the way, every time you like, one of the things that's great about the Blair Witch Project is like, it's like the imagery you have in your mind is more scary than if they actually made the Blair Witch and you saw her. This is the same thing was happening with me with this whole Steel Inquisitor.
Well,
the image I have in my mind is like creepy as hell.
Yeah.
So you can't see the front of their eyes really that well, but in the image I sent you for the fan art that we're using for the thumbnail, if you go back to, I texted it to you, I think on May 2nd, but if you look at the guy, you see the spikes coming out the back of his head.
Oh, thanks.
With the tattoos around his eyes.
Okay,
so
I'm not sleeping tonight. Thanks.
Yeah. You can see a little fan art there. Of spikes coming out of the back. But yeah.
Intense.
So yeah, that's how we wrap up chapter 2. Is the hunt on Kelsier's trying to save the day, apparently, maybe. Who knows what's gonna happen. They're on to Vin and Cayman, at least onto something about them. They're trying to hunt them down, and everything looks like it's about to go to hell in a handbasket. And
Absolutely.
I made you guys stop reading, so you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for that.
It's me being a dark friend, as we say in the Wheel of Time world. Me being a horrible person, but
dark friend, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah. So it's when you're trying to divide these chapters up, we'll try to figure out our pace as we move along. I'm trying to do around 3 chapters a week, just because otherwise I think it will run too long. And I think they're short enough chapters that 2 chapters would just be. There's gonna be sometimes we do 2 chapters, sometimes we do 3. If they're really long, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. We might just do 2 chapters. But I think this is a good pace. It's not too strenuous of a reading schedule, I don't think, at least for you guys. But
no, I mean, I'll be honest. I listened to these 3 chapters twice, maybe just because I wanted to make sure it absorbed it. Because it's always interesting getting into like new material and really grasping it. Because you have to set yourself up to the mindset of the world that we're going to be in. So I enjoyed it the first time too, but I just wanted to capture the details I might have missed the first go around. So I appreciate just being 3 chapters because it gives me an opportunity to listen to it twice. So
I thought about reading it twice. I didn't, but after this first kind of section, it's got me hooked enough to where I'm like, we could go more if we need to, but if not, I could just read it twice through and get that much more, like Alondo was saying.
Yeah, so, definitely. So I will say, a couple people comment some few things. Yeah. So Ian says there's never a good stopping point, Sanderson. That's true.
Yeah.
It's never enough. Also says, wait till you get to the end of books. There's something called the Sanderlanche, where everything starts to come together in this massive epic finale. Every single book has a Sanderlanche. It's actually a name for Sanderson, the Sanderlanche.
Cool.
So it's going to be extremely tough to get through those chapters and stop at any point. But we're doing a podcast. This is what we're going to do.
That sounds a lot like Robert Jordan, though, because I feel like Robert Jordan used to do that. It's like I would be like, how the hell these guys can get this bucket of syrup, and then all of a sudden it's like at the end, it's like it all comes together. I'm like, holy crap! In like 2 chapters, you just went crazy style. So
little crossover for Wheel of Time. I mean, the reason why Brandon Sanderson was selected to finish the last 3 was Harriet McDougal, Robert Jordan's wife, our widow, hand selected Brandon Sanderson after reading Mistborn. She read this and said he needs to finish Wheel of Time.
Man, the similarities are crazy. I mean, it's insane how many things that crossed over, and I can see it now. And then you talk about the end of the books, and I was like, okay, I get this now. So, got it.
Yeah, and RJ did have influenced Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson was a huge Robert Jordan fan, so there's a lot of cross pollination there. So,
and by the way, she was his wife was Robert Jordan's editor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if there's anybody that knows Robert Jordan.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
So real quick before we wrap up, a couple things I want to ask you guys, and we're going to do this every single week, but just where do you think the story is going? I know it's very early. It's very hard to say at this point because we don't know much, but just initial thoughts. Where are we going? What do you think's overall happening? And you can say, I have no idea. And that's a fine answer, but just
who wants to go first?
Spitball.
I mean, I don't mind going first. So I feel like, Vin has got to become like and I'm going off of Robert Jordan stuff here. He loves to write for great, strong female characters. I feel like Vin is going to become major, and I feel like her building out her powers is our exposure to allomancy in general, like how it actually works and everything. As she continues to figure it out, she's gonna become a very powerful player in this whole role. I feel like this whole uprising, what's going to happen with the ska in general, I think that's going to be a major plot point. Obviously, I am really super curious about the world in general, like the ash, the basically like the sun being kind of covered like a red sun, I think is what's going on there, or something like that. If I hope I'm not misremembering that. I'm curious about that. What destroyed, quote unquote, destroyed this world? What's going on there? Why isn't metal more prevalent everywhere? Like, why is it only in certain areas? Again, I got 1,000 questions, and I feel like this is all going to get fleshed out. But I feel like, and in fact, it's called the Final Empire. I feel like there's like a bunch of stuff that's been going on for like generations and generations, and we're going to find out like how the ruling class has basically helped destroy their world. So I think that's what's going to get built out here eventually, in my opinion. Gotta wait to see, but that's where I'm at.
You just took so many like big themes, and I think that's so awesome that like you're already projecting where they could potentially go. I hadn't even thought about that. That's awesome. Okay. I'm gonna be thinking about that all night. I was just thinking like in terms of where they are in the story, I think they're all gonna like get into there's gonna be some massive turmoil, maybe like Vin, Kelsier, and crew, save the day, but at the same time, like the ministry is like, oh nope, we got to get those guys. So they're like, they got to leave town and go kind of like seek refuge, and the journey begins. That's what I'm, feeling like they're leaving the Shire in a way. Coming down the road. So my monitor just turned off, but yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Got it. Yeah. Completely legit.
Floaties.
Yeah, that's from the Will Reads. Grab your floaties, because if you go really deep into things, you gotta put those floaties on.
I'll just drink more and pass out. It'll be okay.
Hey, really, this is just a drinking game. So.
Oh yeah.
Sounds
Thanks,
good. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I might need some floaties.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds good. So the other thing I always do every week, which anyone who watches or listens to the Will Reads knows, we do favorite character. So I always make, and I didn't tell you guys beforehand because I wanted you guys to be on the spot for this.
Nice.
But now you'll know next week to be thinking about it. But pick a favorite character, and you can only pick one, and that's fine. If you pick two, I don't really care. We don't really have rules here.
Or don't pick it all.
I don't pick it all. You can say like I didn't like anyone. And who really stood out? Like, who are you really rooting for? Who do you like the most from these particular chapters?
I got mine picked out, and I cannot remember his name. The little old dude from chapter 1, who's reluctantly forced into, what is his name?
Oh yeah, Yulif is his name? No, that's Yulif is who they meet with.
Oh my goodness,
what was his name?
Chad, if you know who I'm talking about, please say it, because it's the older dude from chapter 1. He's like dealing with the aftermath after like.
Was it Menace? Menace?
Yes, I think that is it. Yes,
Menace,
yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love the fact he's like reluctantly, he's like, well, I guess we're rebelling now, so go ahead and just. But I'm like, I feel there's a lot more fight in him than he knows he has. And he's kind of forced into a situation. He's got a lot more resolve than he thinks he really has.
Yeah,
he's
he's the same guy.
He's got to step up, right?
I guess I'll get up this morning, and I'll get up every day until I don't get up, and they just come kill me, because that's, I guess, when it's gonna be over. Like,
but he's just got a little bit more resolve. Like every day, he's like, I gotta get up, I gotta do this, and then it's like, well, I guess we're rebelling. Find this cave over here, and I'm like, yes, my guy. It's like, you got more in you than you think you do. I liked him all day long.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Will, do you have a favorite character?
If I had to pick one right now, I guess probably pick Kelsier, just because he seems like an ultimate badass. But,
Kelsier.
It's gonna change more and more.
I
think any of the like Allomancers, like that's some pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could do that. So.
Yeah, my favorite character. It's only mentioned. He's not actually in this chapter, but it's Breeze, just because Raphael, you guys will find out. And I do this all the time. I'll just pick some random character that's not really in the chapter.
Okay.
But Breeze is mentioned only. But Breeze is amazing. But no, for real. I don't know. Dox is awesome. I like Doxon.
Okay. Okay.
Kelsey, your sidekick. You know, this
You
part
can't
of the crime
forget
is-
Vin though. Maybe I'll pick Vin
Yeah,
too as a second.
Vin's good too. Vin's
awesome.
great.
I was gonna choose Vin, but that's low hanging fruit. I'm like, it's just too obvious to like Vin, and I feel like
That's the feel for Vin.
That's gonna be my fallback. If we get on this podcast and there's like a week where I'm like, I don't know anybody else, I'm like, Vin. And it's like, she wasn't in this chapter. Vin.
Facts. Data, facts, right there.
Alan is Breeze. I can't wait
Once
to
you
be
meet Breeze, you'll be like, yeah, Alan is Breeze.
Okay.
Nice.
100%. Yeah, but it's Vin's great. And you can't help but feel it for her because she's been through a lot.
Oh my god.
Like
In 2 chapters, she's been through the most.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's tough.
Yeah.
The little bit of backstory you've gotten from her. She's lived a very rough life, and
You can tell she's got that resolve though. She's
Oh,
not
yeah.
giving up. She's like looking for the way and she's gonna find it.
Yeah.
I mean, and then she has Cayman, who's just a complete asshole. It's like threatened to sell into prostitution if she doesn't act up, and doesn't do what he tells her to. And it's like,
Oh
I'll
my
just
God.
turn you over to the whorehouses and see what you do.
I really wanted that whole thing to fail just so that way he would get like slaughtered or something.
Right.
I mean, to be dead honest with you, but
Well, who said it? It was Kelsier that said, or someone said, like, we're gonna have to find an interesting way to deal with that guy.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
I was like, yes, get him.
yeah, please. I mean, he's already backstabbing people, slapping people around and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
is there any worse person in the world? Yeah,
Karma.
go ahead and take him.
It's
down.
coming for him.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, so next week we'll be doing 3 chapters again. So 3, 4, and 5.
Yep.
I apologize again. We aren't going to be recording on Sunday because it's Mother's Day. I think we're going to do Monday is what we talked about, if that's okay with everybody. So we'll do not
I can
Sunday.
do Sunday or Monday, but whatever.
You can do Sunday. I don't know if I can. I'm not
flexible.
sure what our plans are for Mother's Day yet. But if we end up doing something with my wife or with my mother or my wife's mother, that could throw a kink in all of it. So
Got it.
if we
Stay
want to
tuned.
if we
Bring him
want
on
to
the podcast. That's fine.
yeah, just bring them all on.
Sure. There
Yeah.
you go.
Everybody can come on and hang out.
That's right.
It'll be fun. But yeah, so 3, 4, and 5. I apologize again for wherever that one stops. but yeah, we'll get in some fun stuff here. Real quick on the sign off, how we can be found as of right now. The Cosmere Reads on Twitter is our Twitter handle. I have not gotten around to making Facebook or our Instagram accounts for it. I don't know if I will. We'll see. I have a Facebook account and Twitter and Instagram for the Will Reads, but I don't really use them, so I don't know if I'll get around to that or not. We'll see. We don't have our own website yet either, but we do have a section on the Will Reads Discord. I know I'll share that in the notes for the podcast. And Skeeter just posted that here as well in the live chat, but I'll put it up on the screen for anybody that watches this video later. That is a link to the Will Reads Discord. There is a section for the Cosmere Reads towards the bottom there, and along with a bunch of Cosmere sections that you can talk about in Discord. So that's there if you guys want to join and chat along there. Otherwise, just find us here and hopefully soon wherever podcasts are heard. Once I publish this, it takes a few weeks for it to go to all the platforms. It will be on Spotify within a week. It'll probably be on Apple Podcasts within 2 weeks, and then everywhere else on the other 50 million podcast platforms that are out there, probably around the same time as Apple. So in the next month or so, everything will start flowing through. So yeah, that's how podcasting works.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's a
Apple's
mysterious
funny.
beast. It's a
Apple's
mysterious
funny.
beast.
Spotify proves you right away, and Apple takes like 2 weeks of review to let you get. It's like, come on, just put me up there. But yeah, so that's it. So that's all I really got for right now for this week. But yeah, come follow us in different places. Follow us every single week make sure to subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications when we go live, whether it's for this or for anything else. But I'm happy you guys got to meet Alondo and Will. Anything you guys want to say before we leave, or anything else you guys want to add?
I mean, I don't post much on Twitter, but I am at Alondo. It's that simple. I own everything Alondo, basically. Alondo.com, Alondo, whatever. So, and Alan, we'll talk about website. If there's anything I can do to help out with the website situation, because I can set up a website, so no problem there if you need me help.
Okay,
so.
Done and done.
Yeah. It's kind of my job, so no problem.
This has been a podcasting 101 with Alan. Thanks, Skeeter. I love how
this has been so much fun, by the way, Alan. I really appreciate you like reaching out and saying, "Hey, let's do this." I'm like, "Yes, let's do this." Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man. Thanks for having us. Happy to be a part of it, and look forward to doing it more.
We're just scratching the surface. This is going to get a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to this. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be back next week for some more content. Yeah, I got the Mistborn book up. So until next time, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.